the types of risk. Whether a risk will result to a positive or negative outcomes. And tulad sinabi natin, risk can have a positive and a negative outcomes. Uncertainty will always exist. So ibig sabihin, hindi natin alam, hindi natin merong mga bagay na hindi natin na-predict, hindi natin napag-isipan. So that is the uncertainty na tinatawag. So it can be viewed as an opportunity or threat to any tourism-related enterprise. So kailangan po, di ba? Who would have thought that this COVID-19 pandemic will change our lives from our workplace to our studies to our daily lives? Okay? So kailangan po in risk management, risk assessment, okay, or risk identification, we have to anticipate. Yun yung kailangan nating i-improve pa eh. We have to anticipate what will happen next. The uncertainty will always exist. So in this figure 1.3, so meron tayong 4 types of risk. Number 1 is compliance risk, control hazard risk, control risk, and opportunity risk. Compliance or mandatory risk, as the name suggests, compliance risk involve government-mandated licenses and business permits and requirements. So it may constitute business clearance from a barangay level, municipal level, or city level, internal revenue offices, Security Exchange Commission, license to operate, compliance to fire and building code, and insurance, among others. So yung sinasabing compliance, mandatory risk, yan po yung mga permits na kinukuha natin from the barangay level up to the national level. Building a company or building a business is not a joke. Meron tayong compliance risk na tinatawag. If you're going to make a business or opening a business, okay, we're going to submit all the necessary requirements for in each and every government agency na kailangan to operate a business. Kailangan pupunta ka sa DTI if you are a sole proprietorship or partnership. Pupunta ka sa DTI to register your name. For example, Sir Erwin Restaurant or Sir Erwin Convenience Store. So before ako makapag-operate, kailangan ko munang i-register yun sa DTI, sa Department of Trade and Industry, na I'm going to open a business and I will call it XYZ Convenience Store. And then after securing that, I'll go to the barangay hall to get a barangay permit. Then I'll go to the city hall to get a business permit. And then I'll register also to the Bureau of Internal Revenue for my filing of taxes. Next is hazard risk or pure risk. So these are the risks that can prevent and deter the achievement of companies' goals, missions, and objectives. So typical example includes insurable type risk, to include fire, storm, flood, earthquake, and injury, among others, causing normal operations to be affected by loss, breakdown, theft, and other threats. HAP can also provide operational disruption, example caused by people, premises, processes, and products, the 4 Ps, as illustrated or summarized in Table 1.1. So next figure natin. Table 1.1 So here are the categories. We have people. So examples of disruption in people is lack of people skills and limited resources. For example, ibang employee natin is lack of experience, lack of skills, yan. And then improper behavior by a manager and unexpected absences of key associates or mga employees natin, unexpected absences of key associates kapag ang isang empleyado natin biglang umabsent nang walang paalam, and so magkakaroon ng disruption sa ating operations. For example, yung kahera mo biglang umabsent, sino magkakahera? Ikaw na lang. Tapos may attitude yung manager mo, ay manager ako, hindi ako magkakahera, bahala kayo dyan. So yun yung mga example ng disruption by people. And also sickness, illness, or injury to associates. Okay, so pag nagkakaroon ng sakit yung mga employees natin, nai-injure, yeah. So magkakaroon ng disruption by people. Premises, it's actually the place where the organization or the premises is, for example, you have a restaurant. The building or the structure of the building is your premises. Disruption for premises is no enough prohibition, damage or contamination of premises. Ibig sabihin, for example, yung building kung saan tayo nagtatrabaho is damaged na, occupied o by business. Sino yung sagot? Ms. Raz. Okay? So for example, yung office nyo, office or pinagtatrabahuan mo, there is your premises. Okay, damage of physical assets or theft of physical asset. So yung disruption kapag for example, ang security natin is hindi naman ganun yung vulnerability natin is weak. Okay? So nanakawan tayo dun sa ating store. Yan. So yun yung mga disruption na pwedeng mangyari. Okay? Processes. Failure of IT hardware or software. For example, sa isang restaurant, nasira yung POS or point of sale. So yung proseso nyo, madi-disrupt. Magkakaroon ng distraction. Diba? So instead of printing out a automatic generated receipt, so kailangan mo magmano-mano kasi may failure of IT hardware or software. Okay, processes, interference due to computer virus and hacker. Yan, pag nagkaroon ng mga viruses yung ating mga computer, yan, na-hack yung account natin, yan. Mismanage of information, yan. And then communication or transport failure. For example, ang delivery ng mga supplies natin, supposedly darating siya ngayon. Nagkaroon ng nasiraan yung sasakyan, yung magde-deliver ng mga products natin. So magkakaroon ng disruption. Okay? And last category is the product. Poor product or service quality, supplier failure, delivery of defective goods or its pasts, and logistics failure. Logistics failure, this can also be a failure on the process or the transportation failure. Yeah. Logistics, for example, yung mga i-deliver sa ating mga goods, okay? Nagkaroon ng defect, okay? Or deliver sa atin yung mga canned goods natin, puro expired or puro yupe yung lata. Tapos yung ano natin, yung supposedly frozen chicken natin, pagdating sa atin, hindi na frozen. That is the defective goods. Okay, delivery of defective goods. So these are the four-piece categories of that Hopkins says for operational disruption. Next risk. is the control risk. So these are risks that can cause uncertainty or doubt about the ability to achieve company's goals, missions, and objectives. One classical example of control risk is the internal financial control protocol. If the financial or control protocols are removed, there might be uncertainty on what will happen. Question: what will happen if the internal financial control protocols has been damaged, corrupted? What will happen? Sige, I will wait for your answer here in our chat box. Ano daw sabi sa comment? Bankruptcy po, sabi ni Ms. Raz. Mali po pala. Well, actually, you're correct, Ms. Raz. Pwede rin po yun, bankruptcy. Bago tayo mapunta sa bankruptcy, ano po muna yung pwedeng mangyari if the internal financial control protocols has been corrupt? Mananakawan po. Yan. Okay? Very good, Miss Geronimo. What else? What will happen? Magkakagulo po, sir. Magkakagulo in the sense of, paano magkakagulo?
Napiling ko po yung pag naano po yung control protocols po nila, yung objectives po nila, masisira po.
Alin po yung masisira? Sorry?
Yung objectives po nila, hindi po nila masusunod po.
Okay. What else? How about you, Ms. Redubla? All workers are affected. Kulang po ng mga CCTV to monitor the store, sir. Okay? Ms. Redubla, any thoughts of control?
Ganun din po ako, sir, sa katulad po nung kay Melody po. Kasi since magkaano nga po, nawala na po sila ng control. So may possibility po na meron pong kumuha, lalo na po na hindi po naiiwasan sa mga company yung may mga, ano tawag doon? Parang nasisilaw kasi may mga ganyan po sa, hindi po natin nasasabi, sa isang organization, meron pong nasisilaw sa pera. And then pag yung time na nagkaroon na po ng ganitong control, na nawala na po sila ng control, possible na po yung mga nakawan na nangyayari po.
Okay. So, once the control hindi naman na-manage properly, okay, kung sino-sino na yung humawak ng pera, sino-sino na nag-purchase ng product, okay, once the control or financial control or any part of the organization, nawala yung control, is that wala nang i-manage ang organization. Sabi din, control protocols are depends on the successful management of companies' resources and effective implementation. Hinayaan mo na lang na bumili ng mag-purchase na lang na mag-purchase yung purchasing department mo ng mga goods, mga supplies, without studying the financial status ng company. Diba? Magkakalugihan, masisira lang yung product. Sabi ni Mr. Degit, if the internal financial protocol will be corrupted, sir, dahil nga sila ay may control sa finance, maapektuhan yung organization, sir, kulangin yung budget, and tataas ang risk ng buong company po. Yeah, that's correct. Pagbaba ng finance ay isang company, okay, nawawalan ng inventory since hindi secured yung pera na nasa state. Okay, very good. Fornea says, possible po na malugi ang isang kumpanya or ng isang organization or kawalan po ng budget. Yeah, so that is one of the reasons, one of the many reasons, if the financial control protocols has been corrupted or napabayaan, na mismanage, okay? Magpa-purchase na lang sila ng magpa-purchase, okay? Baka mamaya mag-withdraw na lang na mag-withdraw ng pera without the approval of the management, Okay? So, at the end, mababankrupt lang yung business. Masisira lang yung business. Okay? Napabayaan na yung mga stocks. Bili ng bili, tapos hindi naman pala kailangan. Okay? Nag-expire na lang lahat ng products. So, that is the control protocol. And another example is that nawalan tayo ng control sa ating mga employees na hinayaan na lang natin sila mag-absent without the approval of the management. Diba? Sino na magsaserve sa mga guests natin? Wala na. Yung ginagawa ng 5 tao, tapos gagawin na lang sa isang araw, ay gagawin na lang ng isang tao. Diba? Hindi naman pwede yun. Nawawalan tayo ng control sa operations ng ating organization. And lastly is the opportunity risk. So these are risks that are usually deliberately sought or embraced by the organization, especially for the future long-term success of any organization. So these risks arise because the organization is seeking to enhance the achievement of goals, missions, and objectives. Some organizations are willing to invest in high-risk business strategies in anticipation of high return on investment. So for example, nakakita ang isang organization ng opportunity. Okay? So, have you heard of the saying, high risk, high return, low risk, low return? So this will apply to the opportunity risk. Parang ganito yan. In the most simplest way of explaining it, okay? Kapag high yung risk, high ang returns or rewards. Ayan, tama yung term ni Mr. Ocampo. High risk, high return or high reward. Moderate risk is moderate lang din ang reward. Low risk, low lang din ang return or ang reward. If the risk is 100%, usually, ang reward niyan is 100 din. Pero, since it is high risk, okay, pwede rin na 0 ang maging reward mo. Kasi mataas nga yung mataas yung risk eh. Okay? Mataas yung risk, mataas yung reward mo, pero pwede rin na 0 yung maging reward mo. Pag doon ka naman sa moderate, ibig sabihin 50% lang yung risk mo. So more or less, nasa 50 lang din yung reward mo. 50-50 ka lang din. Okay? 50% of getting it at a moderate reward or 50% lang din ang magiging chance mo na bumagsak yung opportunity mo. Kung low naman, for example, nasa 10% lang yan, maliit lang din yung chance na malugi ka, maliit lang din yung chance na magkaroon ka ng reward. Okay? Nakuha po? Naintindihan po?
Opo.
Okay. Yes, sir. Okay. And so, that ends the discussion for the... thank you, Ms. Montajes.
Welcome po, sir.
Okay, so you may remove the presentation now.